ego. So this past weekend I had some things on my mind that was just driving me crazy. There's a lot going on at work, and a certain situation that was basically about to spiral out of control. And for some reason, within me and within my thoughts, I had allowed someone to transfer their, I won't say negative energy, but their indecisiveness into me. And it led me to think about a quote that I had posted this morning on Instagram. And it basically says, what you give power has power over you if you allow it. So if you allow a certain person or certain thoughts within your mind to have power, it can basically have power over you. But that's only if you allow it. And I think that I had allowed this particular situation to somewhat gain control over me and made me basically lose sleep. I couldn't rest peacefully because I kept thinking about how this issue could get resolved. And it, basically brought me to another point of, me being cocky. Like, how dare this person question what I do or how I do it? But I had to quickly check myself, because that ego part, like when we talk about confidence, we're not talking about confidence and letting the ego run wild and tell you what to do and make you lose sight of all the things around you. We talk about confidence in the ability to look at your weaknesses, to look at your fears, to look at your shortcomings, and basically flip those things to your advantage. It takes confidence to look at your weaknesses to make yourself stronger. And with that strength, you can walk into a room and exude that confidence. Not the ego, which belittles and demeans others that you are around, because that's not what we're trying to do, right? The motivation part comes from listening to the daily podcast and figuring out which episode can basically help you in your daily life, right? So in this situation, I had to think back about what makes me weak, right? And I think all of us, to a certain extent, become weak or feel weak with uncertainty, right? And at this point, I had allowed someone else's uncertainty to become my uncertainty, and I should not have allowed it. But then my ego kicked in, because that's sort of like my self-defense mechanism. How dare you? Like, what are you talking about? And then that ego can basically spiral into other areas to where, the ego feeds itself, right? And when you give it a little bit, it goes and it takes more, and it takes more, and it takes more, and it's not thinking about anybody else or how they feel or what the repercussions are or what the outcome may be. It just wants to feel good. It wants to feel in control and in power. And I think in certain situations, the ego serves its purpose, but I don't think that it's the normal mechanism to continue to propel your confidence. And I had to think about some of the people that motivate me and why they do, and look at whether or not they exude a certain degree of egotism, or if it's just the natural ability as a leader, right? We think about one of my personal favorites is Dame Dash. In the past, he appeared to be an egotistical maniac. But if you look at him today, it is totally the exact opposite, right? Then you can check him out. He's all over online and stuff like that. Or another one of my favorites is, Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher. When I first seen him speak, I thought, wow, this guy really think that he's on his high horse. He's telling his story in pain. It's almost like he's shouting at you, telling you why you're wrong. But when you really listen to him and you get to hear his message, it's totally different. Les Brown, classic, another one of my favorites, has that way of delivering motivational speeches to you that sort of just wrap you into his stories. Who else can I think of? There's a couple of people online that I've been following on Instagram. I think his name is Derek Two Grace. He's a young brother. He just looks as if he gets his motivation and confidence from his family, and confidence in his ability to work with what the universe has given him in an unapologetic way, and teaching his family, his daughters, as a matter of fact, how to do so, how to survive, and how to make the best of living here in America. But when I think about the majority of these people that I spoke about, it may on surface look as if the ego is running it, but it's not. So I think that we need to be very careful into identifying when it is the ego that is running wild, and when we are truly working from within a self of doing better, pushing ourselves to be better, to attracting the right energy, and being confident in that energy, and knowing that we can do our personal best and not allow the ego to take over.